Welcome back to Bermuda and the 2007 World Open Squash. We're focusing currently on the first of the semi-finals. It was one game each when we left. In the meantime, Shabana has taken the third and we're back on court with the Egyptians 6-2 ahead in the fourth.
So with the score 2-1 and 6-2 to Shabana. Very interesting. I noted, Joey, in the between game shots, the physique of David Palmer, remarkable. A guy who could play any sport probably.
7-2.
Yeah, I mean his all-round training and conditioning is probably #1 on the circuit, and he could quite easily have taken up any athletic event, and with the time and dedication being a top-class sportsman at athletics or any other event really. And it's a funny contrast because, oh, there's a nasty slip there.
Oh, now.
That is a nasty slip.
Now Shabana's taken the worst of that by the look. And hopefully, all right, let's have a look at this again, shall we? Shabana goes down there. Could have been so bad for David as well.
Yeah, the floor has been a slight problem at this tournament, but when you've got two guys in a small area sweating, I mean, you're going to get collisions and slips anyway. But I was saying earlier about Dave Palmer being able to compete in probably any sport if he put the amount of time and effort into it. It's a lovely shot there.
4-7.
Amir Shabana, very squash specific, Robert. He's literally, like you say, he's grown up on a squash court. The training he does is very squash specific. He might do a few bits on the track here and there, but it's all playing matches and movements on the court, and you can see that in his body. He has a slight imbalance in his physique there, but it's working very well for him.
Great for me watching him now. I remember him as a 13-year-old boy in Giza Club in Cairo, and him shouting to me off the court, you know, Mr. Robert, what do you think, one day maybe world champion, and laughing and saying, yeah, you keep at it, Emma. But even then, the boy had so many gifts and talents. And here he is. He's the real thing. He's the real deal, as you guys would say. And at the moment, Palmer, the dive doesn't produce it.
Unbelievable dive. That shows his athleticism there. I mean, if you can see this little trick by Shabana, a little flick of the wrist, and that dive is, for somebody of 6'3" in stature, is...
and a wonderful pose there from the Egyptian as well.
But that's what we talk about, Amir Shabana. He's got this ability to just change the direction of the ball with his wrist that not many players can read.
We call it the Egyptian wrist. He is an artist, that's for sure.
His amazing dexterity with his hand. He's able to feather balls at the front of the court. And his reading of the game is amazing. He's...
9-5.
You see there how lethal he is at the front. Given any opportunity, he just puts the ball in straight.
David had been really playing so well at the middle stages of this game, but suddenly Shabana with a couple of magical touches, and there he'd stepped in front of his illustrious Australian opponent and has put the ball away. Starting to look very relaxed now, Shabana.
Yeah, he's got the... both players have got the kind of nerves out of their system by now, but Shabana is starting to play the squash that he's been playing the last couple of months. He's not giving David Palmer any respite. He's putting balls all over the court, and there's no rhythm really, and David Palmer really needs rhythm.
Yes, that's for sure. Good point.
Now he's under pressure, and there's an easy error which gives Shabana game point.
10-5. Match ball.
Match ball. Now, to take him into the final of the 2007 Endurance World Open, David looking for inspiration, looking into the racket, and this man is never beaten until the last second. He will fight to the death, and Shabana serves it in. Can he, at the first time of asking, get into the final? Looks calm, but he wants it. His fists up, he's done it. It's Shabana in the final.
3-11, 11-5. 11-5.
Yeah, it was very hard. Dave is such a good player, and every shot he plays is a fight to get back, and I had to be on my maximum ability to be able to win. I'm just very happy to be in the final. The difference between the top players is very little.
Fox Sports 2.
Best of 5 games. Love all.
What a magical moment. The ultimate event, the biggest tournament in the world, and it's the final, the Endurance World Open, and what a venue. Bermuda have done themselves proud. They have dressed this event and presented it exquisitely. And now the two informed men head to head, and Joey, well, thrills you to think of what might be the prospect tonight.
Both these players in fantastic form. Greg Gaultier just playing a
And out.
trademark flattening winner there on the forehand
One
side. Looking back on their matches over the last year or two, it's all equal 6-all win-to-loss ratio against each other. So Greg Gaultier definitely having the ability to look to take this final against Amir Shabana. He'd be very confident.
He's played with great confidence all week, but so have both of them. And in case of both of these players, two great racketeers, two players who were able to make the ball sing, to talk, to write their name on it, signature shots. And if they both play well together, we could have a classic. And both full with desire. Gaultier still hurting from the memory of losing last year's final to Dave Palmer from a winning position. And the pride of the little Egyptian, the Prince of Cairo, Amir Shabana, who's been such a great world number one. Desperate to make it 3 World Open titles, and what a player he's been. And now a fault from him on the left-hand side. Little left-hander.
2-love.
2-love to Gaultier. Good start for the Frenchman.
Well, they have played a lot against each other recently, and Amir Shabana managed to get the last 2 victories. Qatar and then Hong Kong. Hong Kong was a particularly tight 3-1. Greg just narrowly losing out in the 4th game on a tie break, so he'll be really looking to try and put pressure from the beginning on Amir Shabana. I mean, he's relatively fresh here, Robert. He's had an amazing run
For sure.
through. He's actually had a bit of an easier run in terms of his performances than Amir Shabana, so he'll be very, very fresh physically and mentally.
So much at this time down to on the night. The confidence levels, a good start. Oh,
And out.
Just caught the top of the tin there.
1-2.
the difference between these players is going to be so minute. And yet, who will turn it on? Who will find the magic tonight? And interestingly enough for our viewers, these two guys off court, great friends, great mates, spend a lot of time together. But tonight, well, they're on different sides of the fence. They both want this desperately, and you can sense the tension in the air here in Bermuda. A lovely balmy night, absolutely packed audience. And you know, I've been to so many World Opens in my career, and this one's right up there with the best of the best. What they've achieved here by building this special arena overlooking the sea at Horseshoe Bay is just magical. It's been such a fabulous effort from the government and from the management team, and shouldn't single them out, but people like Ross Triffitt and Kim Carter, Mark DeVerte, done such a great job. And they deserve all the accolades because this has been a terrific World Open, and it's not over yet.
Well, from a tactical point of view, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're number 1 in the world or ranked 50 in the world. If you're a left-hander, the right-hander needs to play down the backhand side. Amir Shabana's lethal on his forehand side. The backhand side he's still obviously extremely strong, but Greg definitely needs to work that backhand side. And I think, Robert, he needs to play a similar positive game to what he did against Nick Matthew, really. It's finding the balance. I've said this earlier about playing somebody of Shabana's quality, about not playing too negatively and actually taking the game to him.
Certainly against Nick Matthew, I thought he played the perfect match, and Nick walked away shaking his head, but in all honesty, when he reflects on it, he'll say on the night the guy was just terrific. He was right in the zone, and if he brings that game plan here tonight, Shabana's going to have a lot of problems, but looking absolutely locked together here at the moment, the two of these guys.
big
3-1.
difference between playing on the grass court and the traditional plaster courts is that you really do get great benefit from going short. The ball stays very far up on the front of the court, but it's a lot harder to get a good length on a glass court than a plaster court. You have to really hit through the ball, hit it very hard, and get it to the back of the court. So I really feel that I always say that from a physical point of view, Amir Shabana may be a little bit more susceptible than others, and Greg Gaultier is in fantastic shape. But when he has got the opportunities, Robert, he really does have to take the game to Shabana.
Yep, I think that's going to be a deciding factor here at the moment. Greg moving the ball, playing fairly defensively, just answering everything. Be interesting to see when the magic appears. That one's too tight.
This is a very good start by Greg Gaultier.
4-1.
He's got a 3-point cushion here,
Right
and
side.
this will just be what he's looking for in the first game of this World Open final.
Great start. But you know, Shabana, over the years, there's been times when I've wondered about him, his concentration levels, but now I truly believe he's the complete thing. He's got everything, and he's proven that this season. And I think he's got the ability now to attack, to defend, to come from behind.
What he's really improved on, Robert, I mean, he's always been a great shot player, but his actual length and recovery work, I mean, I think he took a leaf out of Peter Nicholls' book with his ability to lob very high, wide lobs from the front of the court, which he's starting to do a lot. But his
Peter
length,
was a specialist at that.
it's his length that he hits. He hits such a great length.
Yes,
It gives
left.
him the opportunity
4-1.
to play his attacking squash, and that's what a lot
Yes,
of
left.
people miss. They tend to just watch the last shot that's played in a rally rather than actually seeing the build-up and the
Yes.
construction of rallies, which
4-1.
squash is, you know, it's being classed as it's physical chess.
That's a good bit of advice for our viewers. As Joey says, it's not the final shot, it's the build up to it, what's done to open the can of beans, if you like. John Massarella's given the honour tonight of referee in this World Open. Quite an honour for him, a world referee.
2-4.
Everybody here, all the VIPs. We've had the mighty Jahangir Khan in the audience, amusing everybody. Had a huge round of applause. Most of the government have been here, the Premier, many of the ministers. Support in Bermuda has been total. That's close.
Stroke 2.
Yeah, it's too close to the body.
3-4.
Greg gives a little demonstration, but I don't think his heart's in it. 3-4. That cushion is disappearing. The crowd quiet at the moment, but they will explode if these two guys start to mix it up as they're able to do. By now, of course, everybody has a favourite. Whether it's the D'Artagnan of France or the Prince of Cairo.
This is an interesting cat and mouse game at the moment. Up and down the walls, good length hitting, the ball, as you can see, bouncing behind the service box.
Yes, left.
And then a
3-4.
few exchanges at the front of the court with a lob that puts the rally back in play again. So steady squash at the moment, Robert, you know, which you'd expect for a World Open final, a beginning game. Just both players finding their...
Like two boxers feeling each other out in the early round.
Yeah, just probing away, just seeing how the other person, how your opponent's moving and what's working for them and what's not. You know the games of each opponent so well, but on the day, different things work better than others. And this is just a sounding out, as it were, at the moment.
Crowd
Yes,
starting to
left.
react at that. That was racket head speed at its best.
3-4.
Machine gun squash. Just showing the audience some of their repertoire of skills that make these guys so special. The real gladiators of this game.
Yes, left.
Drop, counter
3-4.
drop, ending in a let.
Both these players, top movers. Greg Gaultier likes to use a more powerful movement. Amir Shabana finishing a beautiful backhand cross-court nick across the top of the tin there, just fading it into the sidewall.
Exquisite, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's his dexterity again in his hands. He's very, very close to this front wall. He's got amazing touch and ability to fade the ball into the net.
Do you know, Joey, I can still see him doing that as a young boy. He's always had that great ability, and now, of course, as a top player, he's, as you said earlier, he's mixing it up with such a clever balance of defense and attack.
Now he's starting to make his break, Robert. This is where he is absolutely lethal. He just suddenly clocks up points, very quick rallies, and before you know it, you're 4 points down in the game, and he's starting to make his move. There's another example there.
I think he did it on cue for you there, Joey.
Yeah, that's his forehand volley. Greg needs to keep his discipline and probe down the backhand side rather than hitting loose cross courts to the Shabana forehand.
And of course, Greg is a great killer of the ball as well. Now he needs to find the same sort of magic. They're not keeping the ball long. A little bit more defensive. Oh, Shabana playing a little trickle. Gets the let.
Slightly wrong footing him. Greg going for the drop shot there and thinking that the ball came back at Shabana and wanting the stroke. So a let ball's been played.
6-4.
6-4, and both players would so like to get this first game, settle them down. What a way to end the season. I know there's the world teams afterwards, but with all due respect, this is a professional event and it's the ultimate event. And
7-4.
to walk away with this, what a season it could be.
No let.
Robert. Greg really does need to try and get his concentration back again. He's arguing all the points now, and he's starting to hit loose balls off return of serve, and this is Shabana's best part of his game now, where he just can clock up the points, and he's getting onto the home straight of this first game.
Well, Greg had a 4-1 lead, and it's gone to 7-4 in reverse now, so he needs, as you say, to put a bit of a hold here on the Egyptian.
And you can see how low the ball's bouncing on this court. It's a brand new ball that they've started off with, and because the rallies are being short, and there's been a few discussions here and there, the ball really is bouncing very, very low. So Shabana's going to make the most of this. Any opportunity he gets, he's going to go short.
Well, he played that shot absolutely magnificently, a typical Shabana shot. And Greg returning it. Lovely hold, delay, cross-court drop, and back in it now.
5-8.
Needs to start coming back. 3 points adrift, 5-8, first game.
Bit of a lucky nick there.
Back or
And
nick.
out.
I
9-5.
feel that's a bonus. But it's a bad time for Greg for this to happen. 9-5.
We always talk about the first game being so crucial, Robert, from a professional player's point of view. To get that first game under your belt sets you up for the rest of the match. And Amir Shabana is a person you really don't want to win the first game, because he just gets more confident as the match goes on.
And his game, Joey, I mean, with the confidence, the shots start to roll, don't they?
Everything, he reads the game, he's relaxing, his movement gets better.
Not taking a backward step there in this rally.
You can see the pressure he's putting on Greg now. I mean, he's really looking to finish off this first game, and he's looking to volley and he's all over Greg at the moment.
Certainly speeded up at this moment.
Yes, let.
Hands in a let. But you feel we're getting to the serious side here.
9-5.
9-5.
Right side.
Both players now starting to sweat up.
And from a psychological point of view, Robert, Greg actually hasn't lost a game yet in this tournament. Every match he's played, he's won 3-love. So he's just hit a lovely winner there, cross-court
And
nick.
out. 6-9.
Raises his hand to his opponent,
Don't know what
but
he's
it was an
pointing,
absolute
or
peach of a return.
sarcastic sorry maybe, but yeah, so if Amir Shabana does get this first game, this will put a few doubts in Greg's head anyway, because he's not had the experience of losing a first game in this tournament. So you've got the other psychological aspect with that as well.
Such a fine line at this level between winning and losing. All the little things that affect these guys.
Well, at this level, it's mental. I mean, on a physical level, everyone's pretty similar, tactical and skill level, and it's who can get it right mentally. And that's the difference between really, really good squash players and the great squash players.
10-6.
And there, Greg Gaultier showing sportsmanship. Knew he hadn't got it up, instantly stopped, and received a pat on the arm from his opponent, but it's given him game ball. An immediate attack there from the Frenchman.
Yes, let 10-6.
Two cross courts, neither of them were winners, both picked up, and it goes to Alette, and it stays game ball to Amish Shabana. Shabana starting to look like a man with purpose in his stride. Surely an attack, he does, but he misses it. Feathers it, but hits the top of the tin.
Hand out.
A rare error in a prime attacking position there for Shabana on his forehand. He hardly ever misses those shots.
Stays game ball to the Egyptian.
Yes, let.
And Alette.
7-10 game ball.
Not a great match to watch at the moment, but so much on it, and neither player playing well at the same time. It's a bit scrappy, but there's so much emotion and so much involvement in it. Oh, unbelievable both from the back, and it's given Shabana the first game.
That's gone into staging this, the ultimate tournament in the game. And this, of course, is the culmination of all that effort, the final of the 2007 World Open. Amish Shabana of Egypt has opened proceedings with an 11-7 win in the first game. We join play early in the second with Shabana 2-1 up.
Terrific movement from both players, but he's not able to get that one up, and Shabana rolling a couple of points short.
3-1.
The movement for Greg is looking a little bit flat at the moment, Robert. I mean, I don't know if he's nervous or the fact that he hasn't maybe had a really hard match this tournament to get his system going and get his body going.
Point.
I mean, that can be another factor. I mean, he played so brilliantly against Nick Matthew. But sometimes when you have a slightly easier run through in a tournament, that can work against you. You don't get your eye and you don't get your system going, and this, it could be shutting down at the moment, and it happens to be in the final.
Also, I think he's such a flair player. He's been so intense for this, and now it's Shabana who's showing us the touch, the grace, the feel, the finesse.
Another example, Robert, mid-court on the forehand side. He's got options. He's got so many options, Amish Shabana, and he just fades a cross-court nick there. And there's a silly error there by Greg. You can see the frustration here. Amish Shabana's not going to let this lead slip.
And there's already the 5-1 lead is there. And this isn't a good time for Greg. And Shabana, well, he's writing it in gold at the moment. What a time to be doing it. 6-1. 6-1 is a big lead on 11-point scoring. And it's Shabana in the front. Oh,
there's a great example of his speed, though.
And touch.
Hand out. 2-6.
Touche from the Frenchman.
Yes, let 2-6.
The court's definitely playing a lot deader than in previous rounds, Robert. Maybe the temperature is a little bit down.
It is down a little actually tonight, Joey, and also they've opened some curtaining to allow the air to grow through.
Yes,
there's a little breeze here tonight,
2-6.
which has been a help for the audience, especially for the players, of course. But as you say, it's affected court condition.
And that's the court conditions change, you know, just within days, and with it being slightly deader out there, it's definitely helping Amish Shabana's game. But one thing about Amish Shabana tonight is he's moving exceedingly well, Robert. He's very relaxed and his movement is absolutely
He looks
fantastic.
like a man on a mission. He's a man with a lot of self-belief, and that shot just about sums it up.
Well, he took that
7-2.
about 2 foot in front of the tee line. It was extraordinary volley, forehand volley kill. He read it so early and was taking it right out in front of him. This is a long way back now for Greg in this second game.
And to be 2-love down against this man will be monstrously difficult. And he's flying, flowing. It's all
8-2.
the Egyptian at the moment, 8-2. And Greg must be mystified. Desperately wanted this title, really felt he had a right to it. He's had one hand on it last year, but it was wrenched away from him.
No let. And out.
And not a lot of argument from
3-8.
Shabana. 3-8.
He has to get back to his basic game, Robert. He has to kind of gather himself and just get back to a basic game of squash to get himself into this match, because if he keeps going short from silly positions, he's just going to get punished by Shabana.
Well, that's what's happening. It's the story of the match so far. And look, Shabana held it, and then the fatal drop. Beautiful to watch.
And out.
What an execution.
9-3.
9-3. He really is a little jewel, this man. Ooh, great pickup.
Yes, let.
And he gets the let.
9-3.
Yeah, he's moving exceptionally well tonight. He's covering every ball that Greg throws at him, and he's not just covering it, he's putting balls back with interest, Robert, and it's when he's in this type of form, it's impossible to deal with.
He's a bit special, and Greg is struggling a little like Nick Matthew did against him last night.
And out.
Now, what can he produce?
4-9.
Crowd starting to get vocal, but it's 4-9, and seemingly the magical little Egyptian has got the cap on this second game. Good shot from Greg, keeping it tight. No length there, though. Oh,
That's an outrageous shot.
And out.
what a time to do it.
It's so hard to read that, Robert. It looks, from a player point of view, it
10-4
looks
game
like
ball.
it's going to be, when you're on court with him, it looks like he's going to hit that to a length, and it just, you saw how short it fell.
Superb. Great
Very,
tactic. Great
very
execution.
deceptive. Yeah, very deceptive though.
And
Very
it's
hard to
given him
read.
another game ball, and if he takes it, he'll be 2-love up in this final. And remember, already a two-time world champion. He's done it. It's Amr Shabana, 2-love up in this World Open here in
Game to
Bermuda.
Shabana, 11-4, who leads 2 games to love. Love all. Thank you, thank you.
John Massarella having to tell the quiet to cool down. They've been a great audience all week, and they sense that maybe
And out.
Shabana is
One
going to
love.
come through, but what a great response there from Gaultier. Maybe we need a little bit of his arrogance now, Joey. Maybe we need somebody to unleash that passion in him and let him flow on the court.
Well, you can see now, I mean, as a great player that he is, and to try and come back in this final, he's got to start to come up with something. You can see now by his body language, he's a lot more.
Down.
It's a silly error there, but he's posturing a bit more now, and he's looking, you know, he's like he's actually finally up for this match. I mean, the first 2 games, no disrespect to Shabana, but Greg was kind of looking small. Now he's starting to.
He needs to strut his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, he needs to strut his stuff and get his presence felt on the court. And at the moment, it's all Shabana, and that
Great.
is a great example of his width and depth there. I mean,
Buried him in the back.
his weight of shot, as we call it, the weight of shot, which means that when the ball falls, whether it's at the front of the court or at the back of the court, is absolutely amazing. He puts great cut on the ball on the forehand side, and the ball just dies in the back of the court. It's very hard to get back.
Shabana, he's in the
3-1.
groove. That's a great shot. Little smile from the impish Egyptian. How
Well,
he will be fated if he wins this and becomes a triple World Open champion.
This is a great example for anyone watching about clinical squash. If the ball is slightly loose, Amir Shabana hits the right shot and usually hits it to winning capacity. And he's very, very clinical, and tonight he's making the most out of it. The court conditions, with it being slightly deader on there. There's less rallies going on, so the ball's keeping low. And
down and out.
He's giving Greg a little bit of a schooling at the moment.
2-4.
And he's got that gap already. And do you know, when we saw the mighty Peter Nicol and Jonathan Power retire, and we wondered, would somebody come out from the crowd? There was a lot of top players, and Shabana has done it with grace. He's really come out and stamped himself as the world's #1, and he's been a good #1, good value, class act.
5-2.
And he's 5-2 up, and the crowd are silenced. Not that they are cheering for one or the other. They would have loved a big 5-setter match, but maybe it's not to be.
Yes,
Shabana would be delighted with any win, and if he can do it in 3, he's going to do it.
Well, I think out of all their meetings, they've played 12 times. This is the 13th time. Amir Shabana hasn't made it look as comfortable as this before.
6-2.
Chose the right moment here, Robert, in the World Open final. And Greg Gaultier really is struggling here.
Well, I think frustration is the name of the game for Greg at the moment.
Yes, lad. 6-2.
He's angry with himself. I think he feels dejected.
6-2.
Has to find some magic. This match isn't over yet, but he's in big trouble. He's 6-2. He's been on the canvas a couple of times, if you like.
That's a lovely variation of shot there. It's we call a trickle angle. It looks like it's going to be a straight drive, and it hits the sidewall, and it just wrong foots at the front of the court. Just showing his weaponry that he has, all his options.
Oh, that's a great shot there. What a pickup. Oh, Shabana really, really working, mixing it up well, defending and attacking so well. Oh, reactions, and finally an appeal.
Yes, lad.
He gets it. Oh, Greg is distraught. But it was a great rally. It had it all, and the crowd getting involved.
Well, that's one of the first proper rallies we've seen, isn't it, Robert, this evening? It really is, and it ended in a bit of a controversial let there. Greg Gaultier showing his frustration, but the ball was played in all four corners of the court there, and it's maybe coming a little bit too late here.
Now Shabana, he's been round the block too many times to let this go. Surely he's going to keep this stranglehold. He's got the lead. He's got the mental advantage at the moment, surely. Great depth there from him. Oh, an absolutely fantastic post. Plays that tight now. Decision.
Stroke to Gaultier.
Oh. Well, I thought it was very tight, but decision is made, and it's a stroke to Gaultier.
And out. 3-7.
3-7. Crowd desperate for Greg to come back. Immediate attack from the Egyptian.
Yes, lad.
And a let.
3-7.
What a tournament this has been. It's been magical to be involved in it and to be part of it. It's been a wonderful 4 years of great squash here in Bermuda, where they went from exhibition squash to the real thing, and they've done themselves proud. They've done such a professional job, and I know you players have had a great time here, Joey, with all the tournaments.
Yeah, it really has ended in the best tournament of the year. You know, the fact that it's the World Championship, but
yes,
it was just great for all of us to play in this venue and with this seating. It's 2,000 seats that they had in this stadium, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric, Robert.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is what professional squash should be like everywhere. This is the template.
Down.
Oh, that's a frustration error there. You can see.
And out.
Yes, the body language. He knows he's better than this.
8-3.
A little bit of a mental breakdown going on in this final. Amir Shabana has put huge pressure on. Pretty much all his attacking shots have come off, and when that happens, he's near impossible to contend with him.
8-3 now.
His consistency over the last few months, Robert's been absolutely unbelievable. And
Stroke to Gaultier.
Greg Gaultier just getting a stroke there, so maybe he can force a last comeback in this third game, Robert.
And it's been, as you said, his consistency. He's won all the majors at the end of the season. If he wins this as well, it means he's played that many more matches. He's put his body through that many more wars, and yet here he stands right at the pinnacle. And this is the cream on top of the cake. What a way to finish his year.
Left side.
Gaultier asking which side, but it's almost what is going on.
He could have reached it.
Yeah, the playing schedule for the professionals the last 2 months has been
No, he was there to play it.
the most intense it's ever been. It's literally been back-to-back tournaments all around the world, just travelling from one tournament to the other and playing within days of arriving.
And all big tournaments, Joey.
And all the there were all the major tournaments in the PSA schedule, and Amir Shabana's looking his sharpest in the last one of the year in the World Open final, and he's just an amazing dive. And
Oh, the crowd love that. Shabana's on the floor, he's up, he retrieves. And the two players show respect. Greg checks he's okay.
Floor, yes, floor, thank you.
And of course, where he's dived, the sweat will be on the floor. It'll have made it dangerous. So on come the court rats. All trained up. Little team of them on the side. They've loved doing it. Nearly all squash players.
yeah, he does tend to dive a lot in these electrifying rallies, and because he's so light, Robert, he kind of dives, gets the ball back, and then he's back on his feet ready for the next shot. And when you're playing against him, it can be very distracting that you know he's got the ball back from a dive, and then you start to think about actually what he's doing on the floor instead of your own shot, but he's always ready in position for the next shot. And I don't know if he's in Egypt, if he's they've got this dive classes that they're doing, and he's but
yes, led 5-8.
He's always had that talent, hasn't he?
He makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Another player, John White, and David Palmer also, they're able to dive and get back up, and it's a real ability to be able to do that without injuring yourself. But
And
anyway,
there, another ability. Forehand cross court, Nick.
9-5.
And it's 9-5. He's 2 points away from a memorable moment in his career. Can he add a third World Open title to all of his achievements?
Down.
That one's down. And we have to wait.
And out, 6-9.
6-9. You wonder if Greg's going to be playing for What If for the next couple of weeks after this. And it's Shabana straight back.
10-6, match ball.
That's it. It's match ball. The little Prince of Cairo looks cool, but I can tell you his heart is pumping. He's desperate for this, and if he gets it, the emotional will pour. Greg Gaultier trying to keep it in play, trying to work the ball, trying to
10-6, match ball.
take himself away from the scoreline. But it stays match ball. What a moment. What a pickup. What a pickup. Stretch from Greg. Now he's in a position. Can he finish it? He does. It is a triple world championship for Amir Shabana. The Prince of Cairo has done it. He is the world champion, and he tells his handlers, keep back. This is my moment. And he shares it with his friend. A distraught Greg Gaultier, but the champion, Amir Shabana, and a worthy champion. What a great player and a great night for squash here in Bermuda, the Endurance World Open Championships. And that's how it should be. '7 Endurance World Bermuda Champion receives